I played Fallout 4 first, then I played The Witcher 3. And oh
Oh,
my god, is The Witcher 3 better than anything Bethesda has made in the last decade, at least?
I'm gonna have to check
Morrowind?
out Witcher 3.
Well, let's put
Well,
it.
Morrowind was older than a decade
Was it?
now. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now,
Oblivion?
Oblivion. I'm actually going to make a video very soon titled "What if Oblivion was good?" And I'm looking at the script right now. It's 9 pages long. It's 9 pages long, and I retell the main quest. Let's put it like this: Martin Septim, the guy who you're supposed to go save at the beginning.
Yes.
He's going to be set up as like the leader of the Mythic Dawn cult, as far as you know, and then we find out he's not. But there'll be some other stuff, like a character who will fight with you through an Oblivion gate and basically work with you, and you'll fight in each Oblivion gate. You'll fight demi princes, who
Oh wow.
and they will be, at least a few will be story based before it goes into the Radiant events, and you'll just fight this type of demi prince or that type of demi prince. But the point is, I've got 9 pages of this, and I've just given you like 2 paragraphs. So
Wow.
yes.
Yeah, out of the 2 Elder Scrolls games I play, I actually like Oblivion's story.
I
Really?
do too, but I think it could have been better. And
It could have been better. There's issues. What I liked was you weren't the hero of the story. You were the odd job.
yes,
But
but
that's
So
here's the thing.
that's
Think about it
Oh,
like
go.
this: if you become the leader of the Thieves Guild, the listener of the Dark Brotherhood, the Archmage of the Mages Guild, so on and so forth, you become all these things at once. I think you should unlock an option to bring every single faction in on the fight for the Imperial City. And literally, where you'll have like Fighters Guild members charging into the Oblivion gates that are opening. Okay, Thieves Guild members sneaking past the battle, going and stealing the sigil stones and shutting the gates. Like,
That would be cool.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
there was a limitations with the engine.
Of course. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing though. Gamebryo. Okay,
Maybe Skywind or Sky Oblivion.
Well, what I'm talking about is all in the fictional realm, because this would never be made in a mod. It's too intricate what I'm talking about. So I'm just talking about like where people go like their ideal Elder Scrolls 6. I'm saying my ideal Elder Scrolls 4. Now, I had a document open that I closed right before this stream started. But what I was going to do is I was looking at Gamebryo, the engine that Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4 all use. And I've seen other games that use it, like, for example, the new Ghost in
I
the
saw your
Shell
Twitter on
shooter.
that.
Yeah, the new Ghost in the Shell shooter, for instance. Oh my god, that thing is not janky at all. And I look at some of the other games, they aren't janky either. Like, what are you doing, Bethesda? Hire some good programmers. I'm sorry if I'm insulting any
Or
of
the
the
modders.
yeah, or modders. Yeah, but I'm very sorry if I'm insulting anyone at Bethesda right now. Maybe there's some kind of weird structure, and maybe not Todd Howard, but Todd Howard's like second cousin who's working under him is like
Hail
screwing the
Howard.
whole thing. I don't know, but somewhere along the line, Bethesda is not up to snuff. They are a bad game developer. They're good at making sandboxes, and they're great at crafting worlds. But what would happen if Bethesda crafted a world and then you gave it to Obsidian to populate with characters and quests?
That is what
The
I've always
mechanics
thought.
of
I'm going to compare The Witcher 3 and Skyrim right now. Skyrim lets you create your own characters, lets you use mods to do amazing things, add new adventures, everything. Then we go to The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3, the world isn't nearly as great. You have to go and you have to use area transitions. It's not a true open world, so on and so forth. But when you look at the individual character work in The Witcher, there's a side quest where you're helping this hunter track down a griffin. Well, you can talk to the hunter. This hunter is a throwaway character. He'll never be seen again, but you can actually engage him in dialogue, and he's kind of down in the dumps. Why are you living out here all alone? And you start to question it, and he says, I'm a monster. And you being a witcher who is a mutated human, more or less, you say, I'm a monster too. And so the Witcher immediately, drawing upon all his past monster hunting knowledge, realizes this guy is a werewolf. And so he says, lycanthropy, it's a difficult curse, but I've worked with it before. Can I help you? And the guy says, that isn't it. That isn't it. I slept with the son, this is a male hunter, by the way. He says, I slept with the son of a nobleman, and that nobleman went crazy and destroyed his own household, and like all the servants' lives were ruined. And it's all my fault. And it's like, and then the Witcher just says sorry, because there's nothing he can do. Like, he was prepared to take care of a werewolf situation, but this guy being gay and having ruined his life, like, he can't do anything about that, and that just drives home the point that despite him being one of the most powerful characters in this world, he's just one man. I really do like the way they've differentiated the Fallout universe from ours by saying that they're using fusion and not fission. It's a completely different branch of nuclear technology, one that turned out to be completely not viable when we tried it in real life. But they were able to use science in all capitals with an exclamation point at the end to make it work. And so by explaining it, the reason Fallout works is because 1, science, 2, fusion, and 3, the fact that everything is based off American propaganda. That's what just makes the series brilliant. And it doesn't matter what you make in it, as long as you follow those 3 things, you're gonna make something decent. Not great, just decent. I mean, I've never been crazy about spoilers like other people have been like, oh my god, you've spoiled it. But then I've grown up with people around me that see the need to spoil things all the time. And here's the thing: if I'm kind of like I'm very hard to get excited about different games and movies and things. I'm very cynical. So when I learn more about it, when I hear spoilers, it's like, that does sound interesting. I might want to watch that. And that's been my view of spoilers, has always been a positive thing, whereas other people freak out, and that's just always been me.
Mine has more been, okay, I expect spoilers, and I want to write an editorial about building a guideline or something about spoilers or everything. Like, if it's been out for 2 months, okay, deal with it. But for certain topics, for example, spoilers for The Force Awakens. Please mute for like a minute or whatever.
The Mary Sue Awakens?
Yeah, that's a different topic. But I was watching Boogie's chatter. He put spoilers in the title, which I get, and I was just listening to reviews, non-spoiler reviews of Force Awakens. And I was driving in my car, and I didn't see the tag for everything. So I apply a double rule. You have to say it in the video, too. There's going to be spoilers for this. He tells about a certain death.
Oh.
That I got very mad. I know it's not Boogie's fault, but at the same time, just say it in the video, because from what I've learned from life experience, people need reintroduction.
Somebody told me there was lightsabers in the new Star Wars movie. I'm like, oh my god, you just ruined the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, but there are people who have the YouTube videos, and they have like SoundCloud stuff on autoplay. I know I certainly, like, every once in a while Total Biscuit will do one of his rants, and I'll just autoplay the thing in my car, and on the phone I've got like a mount for my phone. I'll just autoplay his SoundCloud rants, and if his rants had spoilers in it, well, I didn't know because I don't read the titles. I just saw a new SoundCloud went up, I hit the play button, and then I'm back to driving. I don't read text while I'm driving. I just have this terminal on my screen or dashboard, more or less.
Yeah, when I got that spoiler, I turned off to the side of the road, paused the video, and I thought maybe I should yell Boogie like in Star Trek Con.
Oh my god.
But I didn't. But I did pause the video.
That would have made a good video. Like, you should have just brought a friend over there to film yourself, reenact the thing, and Boogie!
Reaction video.
Star Wars and Fallout 4 were the 2 things I didn't want spoilers on. I went dark when the game first came out, or was coming out. Like, I heard about all the spoilers, and I heard about the achievements, and I went dark, and a few people on Twitter were like, why aren't you talking about this?
I read the Fallout 4 script 2 years ago.
Well, seriously? Or
the Kotaku leaked it. It got pretty well buried. But yes, Kotaku leaked the script 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh man.
Yeah, so
Did they actually change a lot from the initial
They
script?
changed a few of the nuances, but the main dialogue and the main characters stayed the same.
I
Now,
actually didn't
what's
read it.
funny is that now Kotaku is blacklisted. They do not get any words from Bethesda ever. Like Bethesda just does not deal with Kotaku anymore.
Yeah, Kotaku, I have my opinions on it. I do actually agree with TB that less diversity is a bad thing, but Kotaku had it coming too.
We're not going to talk about Gawker in this
Pardon, which one?
one. Gawker is the people who own. I think it's Kotaku. It might be other
okay.
media outlets, but let's put it like this: they have a heavy bias, and bias in journalism. When those two go together.
Yeah, So my little story about Fallout 4 is I was going to do a review for this, and I was off the site for a month and a half that I was going to write for putting down notes and everything. Then I come on the site and I'm about to ask the little editor I'm talking to, because I've only done one article on that. And that was a article for a mod author that did a Fallout 3 mod go on indie. And they had Fallout 4 reviews galore. I should have honestly saw that coming. So this podcast became that because I have notes.
Fallout 4, like, even when it started being as hyped as it was, I love Fallout. Fallout New Vegas is probably my favorite game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I entering into this whole thing was skeptical from the beginning, because I knew Bethesda's track record, and I knew that it wasn't going to be what I expected.
Always form reasonable expectations based on past behavior. That is just what you got to do. You got to ignore the hype train, and you be pleasantly surprised when they exceed your low expectations. But then you're not horribly crushed and disappointed, like so many people who. Have you heard of the concept of meta bombing?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That is making...
Metacritic, where people will actually get like a group of people, like 50, 100, 1,000 people, and go to Metacritic and give games a 0 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. And it completely skews the scores, because they are specifically pissed about one thing, and they are judging the entire game based on that one little flaw. In this case, it's a big flaw, because let's face it, you cannot judge Fallout 4 as an RPG. It is not an RPG. It's an action game with RPG-esque elements. It is one of the best sandbox games I've ever played, but it is not an RPG.
Fallout New Vegas was closer to a true RPG.
As for the Metacritic thing, they really should not use that as a leveling point for the professional level. Like, you remember New Vegas's bonus thing?
That's
They
right.
should have done it like how much the game sold, not their rating.
Exactly. Whenever I see overwhelmingly positive, overwhelmingly negative, whatever, I click on that tag so that it shows me the individual reviews, because I don't trust an aggregated score. I want to see what the highs, the lows, and the moderates have to say. That's how I make my judgment, is basically... the truth is always in between the two extremists. That's usually what it is.
That really is true.
Yeah.
Opinions there's going to be people that hate the games you love no matter what, for stupid reasons. you know?
This game has bad graphics. I don't like the game. Speaking of which, what were your initial thoughts on Fallout 4?
Oh my goodness.
Or just initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were, okay, before Fallout 4 came out, I did some doomsaying where I said it's not going to be that great, it's not going to meet people's expectations, and I was right. But I was wrong on one thing. And you see, I had concocted this whole idea where Bethesda was basically going to try to sell mods on the Xbox. You see, the paid mod system, okay, for Skyrim was like, in my head, the way I'd crafted this idea, they were trying it out. And if it worked, then that's why Microsoft allowed mods in the first place. Because let's face it, in the past, Microsoft has been a real dick to developers, actually charging people to upgrade to newer versions of the software and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Xbox Live has been a nightmare for console users, and people accuse me of being a console peasant because I play quite a few games with a controller. I'm looking at my Steam controller right now. Love this thing. But
hey, I don't hold it against you. I grew up playing consoles. I still consider myself a console gamer, even though I primarily have been buying things on computers. So my dirty little secret is I play with an Xbox controller.
I'm actually a lost generation gamer. I basically skipped all of Xbox and PS3. The Wii doesn't count. So I went from PS2 to PC.
Hey, PS was a great
I'm
system.
not against the consoles. They just, each platform has its place.
That's right.
People don't get that.
Computer is a very money-hungry platform, but the games are cheap.
And diversity of overwhelming proportions.
Well, if you know how to build a computer and you don't really want to spend a lot of money, you can, for $400, beat an Xbox in performance with a PC. And the thing is that even if you build a very, very low-end PC, you can upgrade it later. So, yeah, it's money hungry, you know. Oh, I want to upgrade my graphics card, you know, $400 there, and so on and so forth. I mean...
You just put $50 aside every paycheck or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. And, I mean, the average hard drive lasts about 7 years, so you have to account, you know, maintenance, upkeep. The moving parts are going to break first, so you may need a new fan or something like that, but... replacement parts these days, all computers are pretty much uniform. We aren't changing formats anymore. So
that's true.
Yeah, I actually, when I was 6 years old, got a 46X computer. Within a couple of years, I was soldering a math coprocessor in there. And yeah, I grew up with computers. So even though I also played Super Mario Brothers and all the Nintendo consoles. So I've had the best of both worlds, thank goodness.
Hey, you know... Oh, go on.
I play my PS2 games on my PC with an emulator.
Hey, I have .hack infection for the PlayStation 2 in my DVD-ROM drive right now because.
Hey, that's a great game. I saw that you were playing that on your channel. I'm like, at least somebody else loves that game as much as I do.
It's a good dungeon crawler. I mean, let's face it, it was a money grab by Bandai in order to get you to buy all 4 identical games. But
it was.
but it was a fun dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Kirito.
Oh.
Kirito. I agree with everything, but I still think it's awesome. Or gun upgrades. Why do you have to be level 38 to get a laser sight or something?
Okay, levels and in terms of crafting, that goes, unfortunately, into the Dungeons & Dragons / tabletop era, where you're basically investing time into your crafts. More time than you physically are. So, for example, in Dungeons & Dragons, what they would do is you'd spend experience points. You would literally... you'd use EXP like currency to create things as a representation of your time spent crafting that thing.
You're talking really old school now.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. Here's my problem with Skyrim. I'm playing an arcane archer. Why do I need an ebony perk to make ebony arrows? You literally just need to melt down an ingot to put it on an arrow. I can make arrows if I really wanted to in real life.
An arrowhead should be very easy to make. You shouldn't need an ebony smithing perk. There's a huge difference between creating a sword that will hold an edge and creating a little arrowhead.
Yeah, that's why I like the reverse engineering idea, or buy lessons from a blacksmith like the trainings in Skyrim. Yep. I'm trying to find mods that allow me to pay I found a mod that does it, but doesn't do it instantly. You have to wait 3 days.
Yeah.
It's a game still. You can craft instantly. Why can't he can't craft instantly?
What about Knock and Tip?
Knock and Tip?
Knock and Tip. It's a mod for Skyrim that allows you to craft arrowheads using an arrowhead crafting station. And
I'm looking for something like that.
Yeah.
I actually have my list of essential mods. I'm still building it, but
what'll happen is you'll get like fragments of arrowheads off of enemies, depending on like if you shoot an arrow into them, maybe the arrow will break into several fragments, and you can combine 3 fragments and a arrow shaft to create a new arrow, for instance. Like,
okay.
Yeah, and you can smith the arrows, the arrowheads, and then the shafts yourself, and then combine them at the bench. No problem. but you can also buy the fragments or buy the things off of, like, say, the Drunken Huntsman, for example, would sell those things. So in terms of the mods exist, they're just rather obscure.
Multiple companion mods in Skyrim, breaking my favorite companions because I don't understand the compatibilities in Dawnguard.
We'll discuss that later. I will help you out. Now, as for the dialogue system, it's centered around X, Y, A, and B.
I get that, but it would have been easy with just a scrolling tab with an
It would have been, but they built this specifically for an Xbox controller, slash PlayStation controller.
Stick.
Yes, I agree completely, but I'm telling you what they did and how shitty that choice was. And I every once in a while will fall back into the role of shouting PC Master Race. I don't do it regularly, but merely as a kind of satire, when I see that gaming is being held back by console limitations. In this case, it wasn't even a limitation of the console. It was a design choice to use those four. And it was also centered around the idea of the voiced protagonist. He would have less lines to say. And there are gamers these days where they cannot play a game without a voiced protagonist. It completely breaks their they can't read. Okay, they're illiterate. Yeah. They're illiterate. That's
subtitles. I always put on subtitles.
The target audience, you can tell this time around, is they are trying to cater towards that really young age group that are all about the Xbox.
Shouldn't be playing in the first place because it's 18 plus.
But the parents are buying the games for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a GameStop once, and I witnessed a mother yelling at the GameStop salesman because she bought her child a Call of Duty game, and there was guns and violence. I actually stepped in.
My parents wouldn't buy Sims for me.
I stepped in, and I'm like, ma'am, you should not be yelling at the store clerk because you're the one who bought the game for your child. It has the picture of a guy with a gun on the front, and it has M-rated on the back. It says guns, violence.
What the hell do you think the ESRB was created for?
Yeah,
ignorant lady doesn't even take the opportunity to read what's on the box. Just the kid wants Grand Theft Auto. Okay,
Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, Grand Theft Auto.
Name. Literally the name.
No. Okay, one of my wife's coworkers was going to buy Grand Theft Auto for her kids, and I had to explain why that was a bad idea.
Oh, that's sad.
Yes.
All right. My original opinion is they could have designed the game to intend a voice protagonist. If it didn't work, they could have just cut it out and just had the voice thing. Then, if they wanted, Season Pass. Hey, guys! You want to have an arbitrary mod that's like Hearthfire, even though I like that mod a little bit, but that's a different story. That gives the voice protagonist a different take on the story with emotions and acting. Voice protagonist mod. Better than Horse Armor.